girl, where you watch, look where you watch, know where you watch, choose the right thing to watch, and this enough to watch. Sticky Stucky Sweet TV with Keith Gargan, Facebook and YouTube. And that enough to watch. The movie star fly take off from Palpatine TV, so that. Boom!
A big sound, a big tune.
Ja holy Emmanuel, boy. Ja Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. Well, Gideon go busting out them head again. So much oppression poor people face right now. Them crying out for freedom. Them crying out for free speech. Then said them want to stand up like them black liberators, like Malcolm X and Martin Luther and the ancient monarchy where come pave the way, sir. Free up black people from it, tear down them fence, yeah. Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon, well, the Gideon go busting out them head. I listen, I see, I the power of the Trinity. Give us the teaching of His Majesty, and we know what, not every...
Blue, Mr. Gargan, blue. Blue till me dance up me toe.
Woman, you sexy from your born. Walkie, 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 woman. You born sexy. You sexy from your born. Spin your roll, make them see the bumper. And no dumper. Walkie, 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 woman. Woman, you sexy from your born. Walkie, 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 woman. Me like how you walk. You just a walkie, walkie, walkie. And a talkie, talkie up. You back it up, cock it up, fling it up, ice it up. The thing pretty, pretty, and buffy, buffy, buffy. Walkie, 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 woman. You know sucky, sucky, sucky. You like when me shooby, shooby, shooby up. Walkie, 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 woman. Me like when you sweaty, 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 and wetty, wetty, wetty. Just like when rain a fall off of your body like a raindrop. Walkie, 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 woman. Me like when you wake up and you put on your makeup. Then you say you want to brace up, not tears up. Make me feel up, feel up. Then we kiss up, and the lips. That and the split up, split up. Yo, walkie, 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 woman. Me like how you walk. You just a walkie, 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 and a talkie, talkie up. Yo, the thing pretty, pretty, and buffy, buffy, buffy. You know floppy, 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 or sappy, sappy, sappy. Your skin smooth like a young baby body. That's why them a watchy, 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 and a chatty, chatty, chatty. Woman, you sexy from walkie, walkie, walkie. Yo, me like when you wake up and you put on your makeup. Then you say you want come brace up. Yo, make me kiss up, woman. You sexy from your and the lips, not on the split up, split up. Yo, walkie, walkie, walkie. You just a walkie, walkie, walkie. Walkie, 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 woman. Me like how you walk. Woman, you sexy from your band. You like when me draw the long gun and me stick you up. Walkie, just a pinty up. Way, walkie, walkie, walkie. Woman, you sexy from your band. Woman, you sexy from your band. Woman, you sexy from your band. Woman, you sexy from your band.
Oh. Somebody ball out one. Somebody say take them out. Lift them and say mighty God. Reverse them. Move them. Pull them out. Spray them out. Every cockroach. Every rat. Every criminal. Reverse them. Every chichi boy. Pull them out of parliament. Every criminal, every scammer, every political scammer whose account can't count, all of them whose account can't count, back them out, spray them, they push them, some push up in our parliament, run them out, I drink out the milk, pull them out, mighty God, reverse them, indict them, mighty God, Holy Ghost, send a Holy Ghost. Heist for them, deport them out of God's house. Some people in there want get deported back of their yard. Send them back. Jezebel, Delilah, send them back of their yard. Ahab, send them back anywhere they come from. Kingston, St. Andrew, Portland, St. Mary. Me I go St. Mary.
Yes, 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 yes. Up, up, up. Up and running, up and gunning. Blessed, 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 blessed Saturday evening. Give thanks for life. Again, big up each and every one. So yeah, everything what Mark Stewart just say, the criminal them in a parliament, burn them out, Chichi Boy, Rate and Lele, all kind of things. Them are people, and them not gonna really show a little sight of them. Just a come out after the hurricane about over a week now. It announced and developed little by little. And nobody know hear about them. Them just like them a hide. And all of a sudden now, them come out with them lies. So we just call it the JLP run out. Well, JLP line machine run out with a pack of lies. Because them have to come out now. And them still are spin things. They are the biggest spinners. And everything them do, make no sense because you know, so like, them a run out of steam still, Yeah, man. Them a run out of steam still. I want to make you say, I said that already. I don't care who it is, whether you're labor right. I want to see if it's journey for Uno in this hurricane because Jamaica not going to miss it. That one not going to divert at all. And if you even divert a little bit, Jamaica might not get the full blunt of it, hopefully so, but it's still going to leave a damage. When you say damage, really damage behind. And nobody can go around that. Trust me, nobody can go around that. So that's something I know. I see it. But me I say them people not come out from either day and do nothing, especially a prime minister of a country. Just quiet, quiet, quiet. And I tell people lie. Them a show you drain when them are clean now. I'm sure so all them so fucking fool. The drain them a show you, they shouldn't even put that on camera. Because you can see that the drain never clean for at least, well, no time at all since them in a power. So now them should put camera upon it. You know, see how them fool you fuck. They should never show that on camera because people just pick up right away. But you look on this drain and never clean. But this a drain never clean for monkey years. What I mean I tell you, But them say them a politician and I don't know how them so backward with them thinking. To really come out and show that on camera. You can't see the drain never clean for donkey years. Right? And I'm show it on camera. Better they never show it. But anyway, we're not going to delay nothing. We are just going at the big stinking sour MP them. You call them the line machine who come out now and spin things. Yeah, man. So we take it from Daryl Valls. Yeah. Look at him.
Affected immediately. So once we see it, and I suspect probably closer to Monday, with the big impact coming between Monday night and Tuesday, that would when the necessity would arise. But more importantly, I'm also giving a directive that once the storm or the hurricane passes, that we open the toll for emergency services and, of course, other persons who want to go to check on their family, their businesses, etc. So we have a pre and a post plan for toll. JUTC.
I saw them piece of shit, babe. Them a minister, If them talk something from them mind and from them heart and them know exactly, they always come with a script, write out something and look upon it. That's all them a do and run the country. Photo up and writing out script and ribbon cutting. If you talk from your heart and you know exactly what you look down and look up on something with somebody write for you, you write it. You know, make no sense. That means for sure, so I just pay like them I tell. Wicked people them.
See, is on standby in collaboration with OutPem and the police to assist with evacuations, and I suspect the evacuations will become more and more necessary as the weather event gets closer and closer. So I can say that that also is in place. So as it relates to the telcos and Petrojam and all the other reports I gave in the days recently, all remain on standby. Everybody is in ready position. And the only thing that I would say before closing is to make an appeal to all Jamaicans. Do not take this lightly. It is coincidental that we had 37 years between Charlie and Gilbert, and 37 years exactly between Gilbert and Melissa. Those of us who are around for Gilbert know exactly what, but there's many that did not experience it. So I'm saying to you, safety is priority, and being smart helps a lot. Don't make foolish decisions. Don't make stupid decisions, like coming out in the middle of the storm to see what's happening.
You don't care for nobody.
Please, I'm making a special appeal because we are in a very, very...
Watch him can't talk a few little simple words pan the hurricane without looking down pan what him right or what him right give him. Them big fucking idiot for me, I tell you, brother.
Serious time over this next few days, and we need all Jamaica to band together, and most importantly, prayers up, up, up for every single Jamaican and Jamaica, land we love. God bless Jamaica.
Yo, what a joke. Look what the criminal then.
Thank you very much, Minister Vaz. We're now going to have what I know most people have tuned in for, which is the forecast from none other than Evan Thompson, and he'll be followed by his minister, Minister Samuda. Evan, we're all stressed out.
Nobody knows
Please come and tell us what is going on and when we will expect rain, when we'll get wind, when this hurricane or tropical storm will start affecting the country. So please welcome Evan Thompson, who the entire country is waiting for.
Thank you very much, Minister, and very good morning to everyone. It has been a long few days and lots of activity, and of course now we are faced by the information of a tropical storm that's rapidly developing and moving closer and closer to Jamaica. The latest bulletin that was issued this morning would have been bulletin number 29 that was issued at 11 o'clock. And just to give you an idea of some of the information that is there, while I'm hoping that we will be able to show a few slides, some images that I captured. The latest position was at 16.5 north and 75.1 west. Now that means that the system still has not moved very much. The movement has still only been about 2 miles per hour. And that has been the situation for the past 24 hours. No significant movement. There has been some strengthening, however, where the system has actually moved from a storm at wind speeds of 45 kilometers per hour to 60 to 65, and now reaching 110 kilometers per hour. At 119 kilometers per hour, it would be classified as a hurricane. So it is really on the brink of becoming a hurricane, moving still toward Jamaica. The expectation, well, the system is currently moving toward the northwest, and that is or west-northwest, and that is at just 1 mile per hour. And it is packing winds, as I said, of 110 kilometers per hour. Now that system is expected to continue moving toward the west-northwest. You would see one image here that gives you an idea of what the mass of clouds associated with the system look like. And if you look into that black area, at the center of the black almost a circle, you'll see where the eye of the system is located. Very little movement, but it is drifting closer to the island of Jamaica, the eastern part of Jamaica, that's moving toward the northwest at only a mile or 2 miles per hour. Now, it's expected to continue that motion throughout much of today, and then it is going to be moving toward the west, to move westward along the southern. Let me move to something that will show you a little bit more. There we go. If we take a look at this, it might be a bit small for you, but those black circles indicate the position of the system in the projected track. So it's expected to move toward the west, and when it is south of Jamaica, south of Clarendon in particular, it's expected to start moving toward the north. At that time, it is expected to be, all this time it is expected to be a major hurricane, because what we're expecting after today is that there will be rapid intensification of this system. That's a phase that some of these hurricanes go through, especially in these days of climate change. We find that this rapid intensification is becoming much more frequent, where there's a period where they just jump from one category to the next in just a couple of hours. So this is what we are expecting to occur with Tropical Storm Melissa, soon to become Hurricane Melissa, and it will continue to move toward the southern coastline of Jamaica. It should make impact with the coastline by Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning. Today is Saturday morning. So we have about 3 days of movement. During this period, we will be experiencing quite a bit of rainfall, because the rains are expected to begin any time now. You would have experienced some brief showers already, but because of that cloud mass that you would see on the earlier image, I'll show you this one in a little while. Well, we can take a look at this closer one. You'll see that we are basically starting to experience the rainfall, Jamaica to the western side, the left side of the image. So the system will continue to advance closer to us. So we'll be into more of the oranges and the darker shades going into the black as we move through this weekend. So much of that rainfall will be moving across Jamaica, and that, of course, will be producing significant flooding over sections of the country. That is what would be expected with this amount of rainfall. The projection, I'll show you this chart, which shows us in that pink area. This is where the rainfall is expected what it's expected to look like, where the rain is concerned. And we're seeing that in the chart to the right, it shows 20 to 30 inches of rainfall. This is really an estimate. A better guide actually suggests that it will be more like 15 to 25 millimeters, 15 to 25 inches of rainfall that will move across Jamaica over the next few days. That is significant. When we have 2 inches of rainfall, it's whole heap of rainfall. So when we talk about 15 to 25, this is much more than, oh, that's somebody else's phone, I assume. Right, this is much more than you can even imagine to experience. This is a major rain-producing event.
We call these people, spin doctors. They just get them to spin things and come tell a bag of lie, a machine a lie. Upon the Jamaican people, and some of them buy it. Yeah. Because they don't have a clue.
It is considered to be producing catastrophic flooding. In some cases, they say life-threatening. We have already heard about some lives being lost in Haiti, and this is because of this system.
Because of the fucking drain they don't clean, and that's gonna cost people life. Because they don't clean the drain for 10 years, and they fucking scrape and pocket the money and clean the drain them. And now, upon the eve of a hurricane, when I try to clean drain. How the fuck that can work? Drain shouldn't clean long time. Drain shouldn't look, our sandy gully shouldn't clean every fucking, if I look at every fucking 6 months or so. That's a big gully. But no. When I come now, and I try to come spin things. Upon the little Jamaican people, them. And some of them are going to buy it. But in the meantime, when the blood clot, hopefully nothing happen to me still, because I don't really want that. But, boy, someone not going to cause it. Because the government get it too much.
Must take every precaution when it comes to the rainfall. If you are in any area that is flood prone, a low-lying area, you must find a way to build a relationship with somebody that will help you to move from that area, or move to those shelters as soon as they are open, and make sure that you are able to ride out this whole system. Now it's...
And them no shelter, no good shelter, you know. Them just tell lie, you know. They never prepare. They don't make no preparation for this hurricane like other countries do. Right? Them just, they're busy enriching themselves. Because they check say, well, and then I know, so them, it will come to a time when God, nature will take its course. And that will go on. Yeah.
It's going to be here for a long time. This system, as I said, from the earlier picture, lots of rainfall, and it will be with us for a good 5 days or so. Heavy rainfall, increasing wind speeds. We are expecting that storm force winds. I believe there is another image that I could probably show. If I got it in, probably not. But it shows that these tropical storm force winds are expected to start being experienced in eastern parts of the island by this evening. And then as we go through tomorrow, those storm force winds will continue right across the country. We expect that we will experience the hurricane force winds starting to impact the island on Monday morning. It's likely that it will be Monday morning. So we are going to go through almost 48 hours of storm force winds affecting sections of the island before the hurricane force winds actually begin to impact us. And that is expected to continue right through Monday, right through Tuesday, right through Wednesday. And then we could be starting to experience some weakening in terms of the wind speeds. But hurricanes have a way, even if the center has moved away from you, the impact of the system usually continues for another 2 days. So expect that throughout next week, we will be impacted by this system. It will be very difficult to move around. It will not be, even after the system has basically said that it is moving away. I had a discussion with representatives from the National Hurricane Center in the U.S. just...
Are you same one just the other day, a couple days ago, say, Jamaica not really bother because the hurricane gonna move and pass it and go around it. Are you all saying it, you know? Because it look like you talk, you know, look at Jamaica met, you call them, whatever. And this brother, you know, same brother I talk other day, say, just 1 or 2 days ago, say the hurricane Jamaica in a good space because the hurricane I go move around it or over it. And now you see you come back now and change the tune. You can't be trusted, brother, because you talk on the government behalf. We're only in together, you know. Can't trust, you know. Yeah.
Just before I came here. And they were saying that the kind of rainfall that we're experiencing, that we will be experiencing, is going to prevent us from actually even doing some of the usual activities immediately after the system center moves off the island. We're going to be prevented because of blocked roads, because of landslides, because of the amount of water that remains over the country, that it's going to be very difficult to move around, assuming that all of this pans out the way that is being projected.
Because the government don't fix the fucking drain, they don't clear the drain. It's right on the appointed time to do it. And that's why the water got there to circle around. Why you don't talk that? Why don't talk that? What do we say?
So it will be a major hurricane. What is projected right now is that it will be a Category 4 hurricane that makes impact on the island. It will likely decrease as it moves toward the north coast, but a category...
You know, good about this still. Sometimes God move in a mysterious way, you know, because we have beaten us about them TV election and Mark Gold and them quiet and things like that. But then again, you know, because if the election did go how it's supposed to go and Mark Gold and them in a power, and this hurricane come now, no money no there, you know, the money no clean out. So the money get the blame and I tell lie, say Mark Gold and them tell lie, so the money no there. So make it fall upon them. Yeah, man. So God move in mysterious way. This is what you see and what you talk about. God move in mysterious way. This is one of them. So let's say, well, then, yeah, if Mark well in a power PMP and this come now, what will happen? A PMP union of government and the money is not there. And they want to take all the blame for all this black drainage where they never clean. And yeah, I tell you, but God great, Yeah, man.
Category 4 hurricane is more than we have experienced before moving across the island. Gilbert was a Category 3 hurricane when it moved over Jamaica. It became Category 4 when it was heading to the Cayman Islands. Ivan was a Category 4 hurricane, yes, but the center did not pass over the island. Beryl was also a Category 4 hurricane, but it also did not impact us with a landfall. It was a direct hit because we've got the heavy rainfall and the associated weather, but it did not move over the island in terms of the center of the system. We have not had this experience before, so it's important for us to consider this as an extraordinary situation. As you can see, the center is expected to move off the island later on Tuesday, but the conditions are expected to linger even as the situation, as the center or as the hurricane itself starts to move even over eastern Cuba. We will continue to experience spiral bands from the system moving across the island. Those can produce more torrential rainfall. Lots more of the flooding is likely to take place even after the eye of the system has moved off the country. So those are the images that I wanted to share with you at this time. There is also the concern of storm surge. This is something that is often overlooked, but we will recall that back in the time in 2004 with Hurricane Ivan, we had storm surge that completely demolished an entire community, Caribbean Terrace in St. Andrew, near to the Palisados area, but that community no longer exists in the way that it used to because of storm surge. We would also know that with Ivan and with Dean in 2007, and even with Beryl, we had significant storm surge on the southern coastline in Rocky Point, in Portland Cottage of Clarendon, and there are other areas on the south coast that also were affected by storm surge. Now, storm surge is also a flooding event, but it is not the flooding from the rainfall. It is flooding that comes in with the waters of the sea. With these tremendous winds that a Category 4 hurricane could produce, that will push the water onto the shoreline from the water of the sea onto the shoreline. And with it pulling back into the sea, it takes even houses and communities possibly back into the sea along with it. So if you are living anywhere near a coastline, it is important that you pay attention to the fact that storm surge is a real potential. What will make a difference in terms of how badly you're affected by the storm surge is where exactly the center makes landfall. On the right side, or the eastern side of that center, the storm surge will be at its maximum. So if the center of the system passes over western Clarendon, for example, along the coast, the eastern part of Clarendon will experience significant storm surge, and this could be up to like 8 feet or maybe more. So we will give you more details later in our later bulletins of the height of the storm surge. We'll try to see if we can also produce some maps that will indicate how far inland the storm surge will impact, so that those persons who are some distance from the coastline but still in the low-lying area would also have an idea of what to expect. Of course, that's where we are concerned with places, even in the St. Andrew, Kingston area, even coastal St. Catherine, that could be affected by storm surge. Port Royal comes to mind, and there are also communities associated with Portmore as you move toward the coast as well that would be at risk from storm surge because of this system. As I said, it is it is what is called a catastrophic hurricane. That is what is expected to not only pass the island, but move directly over the island. I'm sure there will be some questions afterwards, but that's the information. Yes.
I'm going to keep you here, which is not usually the way we do things. Usually wait until the end. But you gave a very important update, and it is extremely, extremely frightening. And so we want to take some questions. I know that we have one question already. Can I get the microphone so that we can get that question answered? So you're saying today we're going to feel rain? There's going to be rain?
Yes, we will start to experience some rain today, but tomorrow throughout the day is when we expect that the rain will increase. And so today is really the last day to do what you have to do on the outside. Right. Don't expect to do anything tomorrow or any time between now and next week Friday.
Okay. All right, let's take the first question. Thank you, Cheryl, for subbing today.
Thanks, Cheryl. Mr. Thompson, Arthur Hall from the Jamaica there.
Yes.
Quick check. You keep saying the eastern side, the western side will have rain. My granny in Trinityville or my friend in Moko wants to know which communities should start expecting rains and where should we tell people move, evacuate. That's what we want to share, not just eastern and western. Which communities should we say move now?
All right. As the system, thank you, Arthur, for the question. As the system moves closer and closer to the island, we will start to experience the heavy rainfall. Mainly, I would start by saying in eastern parts of the island, but then I'll continue by saying parts of St. Thomas. I won't be able to name communities, but as we move across St. Thomas, Portland, the Kingston and St. Andrew area, that's where the rainfall is going to start. As it progresses, then we'll start to see St. Mary being included. All the communities in St. Mary will be moving over to St. Catherine, moving over to Clarendon and Manchester, and in the north to some extent St. Anne. But because the system is going to be approaching more from the southern side, below the country, if you're looking at the map, we're going to experience more of the rainfall at that point. As we go through Sunday and into Monday, the rainfall will become heaviest mainly St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, going across into St. Elizabeth and eventually Westmoreland to a lesser extent, slightly lesser extent. But as I mentioned before, we're talking about amounts of rainfall that you have not been accustomed to experiencing. And the other parts of the island will also get significant rainfall. Our bulletin had indicated that western parts of the island will also experience significant rainfall, which is also unusual, but most of it will occur over those parishes that were named. Parts of Trelawney, St. James, and Hanover will probably be a little bit less impacted, but let's not take that as comfort, because it will still be more rainfall than you bargained for.
All right. And there'll be
surges now, the coastline areas?
Coastal areas.
Coastal areas. Yeah, in terms of the storm surge, for the storm surge coastal areas, we are expecting that parts of Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas will be most impacted by the storm surge. So the coastal areas of those parishes should be really watching. I understand that our fishermen have for the most part moved in. People are commenting that they're seeing all the fishers coming in, and I take that as a good sign. Hopefully they are securing their vessels and making sure that they would be able to ride out the storm at home.
All right, thank you very much. Was there any other question we had at this point for Evan? Okay, here we are, nationwide.
Yes.
Morning, Mr. Thompson. Morning, everybody. Mahiri Stewart, Nationwide News. I've heard a lot of warnings being given to persons that are in low-lying areas, but are persons in high areas also at risk? And if so, what should they do?
Of course. Thank you for your question, Mahiri. The hazards impact different areas in different ways. But if you are living in a hilly area, there is the landslide hazard that is a real possibility. is an eventuality. It is going to occur. We're going to have landslides, and some areas are well known for land slippages, others might not be as well known, but because the soil is already basically saturated and with the extent of rainfall expected, we're going to have more communities along hill slopes, steep hill slopes, that will be impacted by landslides. The matter of the wind is usually increased over hills. If you are living on a hillside or on a mountains, it's lovely views from there, but it also puts you at increased risk for wind damage. And that is because there is a resultant flow. Apart from the impact of the winds from the hurricane directly, there is the resultant flow in that what hits the ground also rises up the mountains and the hills. So you have that both things coming together and adding to the extent of the wind speeds that are experienced over slopes. That will be mostly on the slopes toward the south side of the island as the system progresses, because you will have more of the wind coming onto the coast from the south.
Right, so is it safe to then say that there's no quote-unquote ideal area to be in, given the fact that all areas seem to be affected in some way by the system?
Unfortunately, you are correct with that. There's nowhere that will escape the wrath of this hurricane. The impact may be somewhat lesser for the northwestern part of the island, that would include Hanover, St. James, and Trelawney. Possibly the impact is going to be less, and maybe a part of the west, at least the western part of St. Anne. But otherwise, it's going to be more. So they will still experience quite a number of these hazards affecting their area, but it may not be as much as those in St. Thomas, for example.
All right. One more question? Sure, that's fine.
Minister, just got one from one of our listeners who says, when you say 15 to 25 inches...
Stand up, please.
Well, stand up.
Don't want to see your face on camera.
Evan, when you say 15 to 25 inches of rain, what should that mean for the farmer in Mavis Bank or the person in Arborview? What does 15 to 25 inches of rain mean?
I wish I could even describe it, because we don't normally get that kind of rainfall. But if you have experienced any of our major rainfall producers in the past, this is going to be more. You would recall when Hurricane Wilma was developing in 2005, some of us will recall, Hurricane Wilma developed off the southwestern coast of Jamaica in October as well. And while that was developing, there was so much rainfall over the island that there was widespread, extensive flooding over all parishes. That is, we are expecting more than Wilma. If you are thinking also of, there was Nicole that moved over. It did not make landfall over Jamaica either. It was east of the island, but the rainfall that it was experienced across Jamaica was again significant. And if anyone can remember that event, that is also a good marker, but it is going to be more. We haven't seen this kind of... We have to bear in mind also, I should point out that with the slow movement of the system, it doesn't allow you to recover. It's not like it's going to just move off and then gradually the water runs off. It's going to sit there pouring water while it's barely moving. And that is a significant challenge that we have to be aware of. It's going to cause significant, widespread, catastrophic, life-threatening floods, as long as what is predicted does take place.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we know that.
There's a small window of a change in a track, but even in my discussion with the Hurricane Center this morning, they said that window is closing because it is getting a little bit closer, and all the models are becoming more in agreement with where the system will go.
All right. Any more questions? So, any last words, Evan, to Jamaica? There are a lot of anxious Jamaicans who are just worried about what's going to happen. What would you say to them on Saturday morning at 11:05 a.m.?
I would say if there are some things that are not yet in place, that must be in place, you might have to Brave the crowds, because there are going to be crowds wherever you need to go. You might have to brave it if you need something. Let's not take advantage of getting much more than you will need. But consider your brothers and your sisters as well. There is somebody else who will not be able to go. There is somebody else who will be in need, and you might have to provide that kind of assistance to them, even now as we prepare. Today is your last day to prepare for this.
And the government don't make no preparation for this. And I'll be trying to show you. So what kind of blood clot government is this? Eh? And the last few days before the hurricane hit, them a come out, come bungle up here, so. Pack of liars them, come with them line machine. Include that same woman named Diane, what she want name, with a moped.
Hurricane. If you have not done anything yet, don't think that you will be able to go out tomorrow and it will be easy to go and get things done, because that might not actually be a reality. You have to do what you can now. But I don't want you to think there is no hope, because I still believe that we can trust that things will not be as bad as I am making it sound to you, by at least preparing yourself, yes, but at the same time believing that you will ride this through. You will get over it, and tomorrow, metaphorically tomorrow, it will really be next week, the sun will shine again, and you will be okay. Just take care, take the precautions that are necessary, and do it now.
All right, thank you very much, Evan. Just reminding everyone that what Evan said, finish all your prep today. You won't have a chance to do it after today. And you're gonna start feeling the tropical storm, winds and the rain is coming from today. He also said something, which was that we must expect more rainfall than we've gotten from any of the other systems we can remember. So we have to take this very, very seriously. And Evan, we are so grateful to have you in the government service, and you will continue. I'm assuring you that we'll continue to hear from Evan. He will come on periodically. If we
the government service seminar is Jamaican Information Service, which is supposed to be the Jamaican people I talk for, as the fucking government, about the government service. It's Jamaican Information Service. But them people are not easy, you know. They want to put them on everything. A nasty piece of shit.
We can't do the briefings in this room. We will find a way to get the information to you nevertheless. Thank you, Evan.
You're welcome.
Up next, we have Minister Matthew Samuda, or Minister of Water, Environment and Climate Change. Minister, morning.
Brother Tukuman, come up now. Brother Tukuman.
Morning.
Thank you, Minister Dixon.
What, Brother Tukuman?
Colleague ministers, heads of agency, permanent secretaries, members of the media, Jamaicans all. We started the very first press briefing, Minister Dixon, by saying that it was not time to panic, but time to prepare. Well, Jamaicans, it's still not time to panic, but the time for preparation is running out. From that perspective, I want to not thank Evan for his words, but thank him for the hours that he and his team have been putting in, certainly over the last 2 or so weeks, in monitoring this critical weather system. The Met Service is operating 24 hours a day, as it always does, but operating at full throttle to ensure that the information that we all need to prepare and to plan is indeed made available. But to Mr. Hall from the Observer's question, let us not have anyone in Jamaica in any corner think that they will escape effect. Let us be clear with every Jamaican that this is a large, slow-moving, dangerous storm, and that it is in your interest to A, listen to reputable news sources, B, ignore sources that are proven to be misinformation on a regular basis, and to tune to those sources that we have told you about before, so that you have the...
So them people lie and wicked. Anybody that talk about information when it's true, any blogger want to do something, they might deal it from the fucking weather news, right? Proper weather news. So nobody not getting no false information. That's what them come with, you know. This again what them are doing. They must spin the things And I try to take off all the blame off of them because they don't clean the fucking drain about false information. Okay, you give you false information for a fucking at the same brother he must give me the false information. Because I talk about I make it look good. Other day, 2 days ago, I talk so well and Rate and Lele. You know, this time gonna pass over Jamaica. And now I'm changing tune. So he might give false information. You look a brother to come on, you know, you're too enough, you know. Short
accurate information in a timely fashion that allows you to plan and take the appropriate action. These sources, as we have said, Minister Dixon, are the JIS through the Ministry of Education and Information, certainly the Ministry of Local Government and ODPEM, the Met Services channels, the Prime Minister's channels, the Office of the Prime Minister's channels, the Ministry of Water, Environment and Climate Change channels. Stick to official...
What fucking channel? I pay a line to tell upon them channel there. No, fuck off and go, man. But Prime Minister channel and whatever else like, you know. I pay a puck again, you know, want people to listen, you know. I'm not sick. I want to, you know. Them really take Jamaica people for idiot, you know. But Prime Minister channel and this channel, government channel. I'm not full of shit. Yo, stop it, man.
Government sources and reputable media houses for your briefings and for your updates as to the state of the storm.
Who should be to the media house? Media house, you talk about. Nation Narrow. What them are the incubator for Uno? I tell them people still try it, you know. But when we have sensible people like we can't take people for idiot. When I talk to a fucking idiot supporter, them support you know, in any shit. You must them not talk to. Idiot.
Because it is a slow-moving, very wet, very dangerous storm. And we all know the areas that are affected by flood, by land slippage, and certainly that are affected because of being marooned when they are cut off because of trees falling. So stick to the reputable sources. Beyond that, I want to update the country that NWC's emergency protocols are now all in place. We have taken an additional step from the updates which were provided yesterday. We have moved to secure power supply additionally for our loading bays, for our trucking services. We have also moved to secure accommodation very close to our loading bays for the officers who will be needed to be in place so that trucks can immediately start to move once we have the all clear from ODPEM to start distributing water, even while we turn on additional systems. Now, as we have said in the past, priority is given to hospitals, infirmaries, and indeed places of detention, and of course places of safety for our children, because that is where they are unable to help themselves in a particular way. But we can assure you that what we have updated is indeed in place. The steps we have taken for power supply, we believe, make us more resilient, certainly than we were a year ago, and we will continue to build on that resilience. But now is the time, as we believe we're wrapping up our preparations for the event. As Evan has said, we expect to start experiencing storm conditions this evening. Sometime tomorrow we will close off our intakes so that we reduce siltation in our reservoirs and major storage areas so that we're able to restart the systems as soon as our energy supply turns on, either the temporary energy supply or JPS. This is a serious storm, but we are working with our international partners, certainly through the National Hurricane Center, who coordinate their information through the Met Service to give you the information that you need. We can confirm that we're working with all of our local partners also to make sure that we're able to respond to need for urgent water supply immediately after the storm, Minister Dixon. So with that, I will take my leave and head out.
Thank you. You can't go yet. We have a meeting after this. But up next, we have a very important update from a very important minister, Minister Green. And agriculture is the backbone of this country. And as you heard from Evan in terms of the amount of rainfall that we are expecting, there is a threat there, and also our fisher folk have been listening to you, Minister, and we thank you for your guidance. We see you out there doing the work. We see you all over St. Elizabeth and
and
also briefing farmers.
go,
and so this morning we get to hear from Minister Floyd Green on his efforts and the efforts of his ministry. Minister?
Jesus. Them people are the sickest stomach to us, Lord. Pure lives.
Thank you very much, Minister Dixon, colleague, ministers, people of Jamaica. Good morning.
This is our next Tukuman again, you know. Yeah. Tompa Tukuman. You know where them get them people from?
The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining has activated its emergency protocols and has convened its disaster.
Watch him look down now him right. They can't come to nothing straightforward, you know, from them mind and from them heart, you know. Right down. Watch him look on the whole of them, that's what them. Oh, God, boy.
This is the comedy it. We not.
Yeah, man, I really comedy this bomber wall. I tell you. No, sir.
Management and Mitigation Committee. Our first phase has been to issue various advisories to our farmers and fishers around what to do in the event of this storm. Clearly, we now see that as the week has gone on, the storm has strengthened, and it appears based on the forecast, we are certain to get significant rain and significant wind. As such, we've been saying to our different types of farmers to take necessary precautions. Firstly, for them to be out there harvesting if they can. We have been working with a number of our farmers, our fruit farmers, our pepper farmers, to harvest what they have, to work with our agro-processes to provide those items so that they can minimize their losses. Additionally, we've been saying to our livestock farmers to ensure that they have sufficient feed for their animals, ensure that they have sufficient clean water for their animals. If the animals are in a flood-prone area, move them to higher ground. It is very, very important that they act now, especially in relation to preparing silage so that the animals will have feed during the storm. We've sent out advisories, and our RADA teams have been out in the ground. Literally, our extension officers have been visiting with farmers, saying to them, put these precautions in place. Clear your drains so that you can have the free flow of water. If you're banana and planting farmers, please get rid of the overhanging trees, prop up your plants, store your chemicals in a dry place. We know with a lot of rain comes the onset of fungus. You need to have your fungicides, store them so that when it is clear, and this is a very important part, we don't want anybody to be trying to venture out in the weather event to try to save their crops and animals. Oftentimes that causes loss of life. So make these preparations now. Put your chemicals in a safe space so that when it is clear, you can get out there and you can get back to what we love to do. Additionally, we saw a lot of damage to our greenhouse farmers in Hurricane Beryl. In fact, about 232 greenhouse structures were destroyed by Hurricane Beryl. A number of those farmers have not fully rebuilt as yet. In the process of rebuilding, we've had a number of interventions to get those farmers back on their feet. We're asking them to follow the protocols. In fact, we have been literally calling our greenhouse farmers through RADA to say to them, ensure that you strip your greenhouses, take off the plastic so that the wind can pass through. Originally, we were just talking about rain. But as we have seen, based on the trajectory of the storm, which will likely become a hurricane, then we're going to have significant wind. So we're asking our farmers to follow the protocol. So the RADA team is out. Also, our Agro-Invest Corporation has been working with our agri-parks, looking at critical drains, trying to clean those drains so that we can reduce the impact of flooding. As such, the Sugar Company of Jamaica as well has been undertaking that, has been directed to undertake those works. In relation to our fishers, our message has been very, very clear. Come home. Secure your boats and secure your engines and do not venture out during this weather system. I must say that we've had very, very good uptake of our advisories from our fishers. A number of them have made their ways from the Keys. A number of them have come back in, have pulled in their boats, and our extension officers from the Fisheries Authority are out checking, making final checks to help those fishers be ready for the inevitable that will come. Part of what we're doing now is the transition into looking at crafting our recovery. It is very, very clear that we will have significant negative impact on our agricultural sector. We have been having a very good year for agriculture. You know, our farmers showed tremendous resilience after Hurricane Beryl, leading us to what will be 3 quarters of significant growth in our agricultural sector. Unfortunately, Melissa is coming at a time that most farmers would have been capitalizing on the normal October rains to put in their crops to be ready for December, for the Christmas period. And as such, there is a lot at risk on the agricultural side. So we've already started to craft a disaster recovery plan, clearly. Vegetable crops are more susceptible to these weather-related events. So we already have in stock through our RADA offices some vegetable seeds so that we will be able to get out as quickly as possible. We've also secured some chemicals that we know will be important to distribute to our farmers after the weather event. We've also been engaging our partners, and I really want to thank the ones that have reached out extremely early. We've already had a meeting with our CARICOM counterparts around support that they plan to provide. We've already had an outreach from the FAO and from ECA in relation to indicating that they stand ready to assist.
Same old stories, same old. From the last parliament. They come back with the same shit again. Nothing new. Pure lies. Farmers suffer under for them government for the last 10 years. And them know that no market for it, for them food. See people tomato rotten, cabbage rotten, everything, pumpkin. No market for it because everything are imported. And here this piece of shit come talking fuckery. Eh? Yeah, this piece of shit come and talk fuckery. The same old. Come back with the same old story again. Just Ross Flat a month I had over in the new parliament. Because they don't have no ammunition. Because them fucking steal election. Use up all the money. There's no money leave. And this hurricane will come now. The little road that them patch up other day. Half patch up. Because I know it's not a good road. I just a little sham them a do for election hearing. All them road I go dig up and gone again, you know. Because peace broke out the other day. With a little small rain fall the other day. One piece of road and just fix, break away. And that was a little bit of little rain fall. Not like we come in. So I don't know what go up to Jamaica. You know what I mean? We did this piece of shit. But I want him also still, you know. God moving in a mysterious way. Because you up now. If PMP did win, because remember, you know, Andrew Wallace said want this happen before the election, you know, this hurricane thing coming, you know. So he can use that and thief more money and delay election, because that would be a good plight to say, well, you can delay election. But God moved in a different way. He never make it happen before the election. So now, it happened when them thief election. So, we have saw them go cope. So we're glad on the PMP have that rascal fucking burned in pandemic anyway. So, you know, God moving a mysterious way, I'm believing at that 100. Yeah, man. So, you know, we are watching now.
Assist Jamaica in relation to its recovery effort.
You can say one boy this with like a guilt on him, you know. Because even though we win election, I buy him buy it out with a bag of money. Because Andrew Wallace, and the men say he have to keep this one here and keep that constituency down there, so. Yo.
On the agriculture and fisheries side. So with all of that said, I will close by saying to our farmers and our fishers, please heed the warnings from the Met Office, follow the advisories that we will be issuing from RADA, from the National Fisheries Authority. Make your final preparations now. The government will be there to help.
Donald Trump a bomb the Caribbean water that day. And the fishermen are afraid to go out there. And none of them come out and say nothing. None of them come out and say nothing. On a piece of nastiness.
Help you get through after all of this is past. We have shown that with Hurricane Beryl that we are nimble enough to get to you quickly so that we can rebound in a robust fashion.
I know some people are getting bomb cloud.
There is life,
there is hope. That's so fucking lie, man.
Take the time to protect your life.
No one shoot with shit.
We will help you protect your livelihoods. Thank you.
You need to shoot with shit. You look a flight green.
Thank you, Minister Green, for that.
Watch him.
He's going to do everything he can to help our
Shut your
farmers.
mouth.
I know that. We did that in Beryl. You did an excellent job there, and I know that you'll continue to do that. Up next, we do have Minister Mackenzie, who is the lead minister in terms of a lot of this prep. He's the deputy chair of the National Disaster Risk Management Council, and he has oversight of ODPEM and other key agencies, and so he will come and give his update to you this morning. Minister Mackenzie.
Decide.
Thank you,
Minister. First of all, let me commend you on the excellent job that you have been doing since we started this series of press briefing, and to my colleague cabinet ministers, especially Minister Semuda, for carrying most of my areas over the last couple of days. And one of those days got you into some problems, but you were good enough to get out of it. Today is a day that many of us is contemplating as to what the outcome starting today will be. I want to start off by saying that Jamaica is in the top 5 most disastrous countries in the world.
Liar, tell me.
We sit in the middle of the earthquake fault line.
When last year we have a rough earthquake?
Exposed
Trimbley. What about a lie, man?
To natural disasters. The pending impact of Melissa is not something that as a country we should take lightly. And even yesterday, engaging with some fellow Jamaicans, their argument is that we are a God-blessed country and we are gifted, and the system will.
It God bless, yes, but it can't God bless when on a piece of shit around. One is supposed to go away forever, disappear, and then the country will grow or something. You dead man Mackenzie. Look at you, telling people fucking lies. Because you can see some people who really don't comfortably, you know. Because they know what's gonna happen. They know they don't have the money to really get things done as well. Because they're not doing a preparation. Then pocket the whole of the money. Yo, the so-called bangarang.
Will pass. Well, the Bible also reminds us that God helped those who help themselves. And I believe that we are at a point now where the government, the Ministry of Local Government, through the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, will have to take the necessary steps to ensure that we put in place the systems which exist that gives us the powers under the Disaster Act to ensure that Jamaicans come.
So so that was in place already. Not supposed to have that in place long time. And now we're going to put that in a place. You see them people are trying to get out of rascal trouble. Because I say the money is not there, you know. Same thing I say. You see when come with now, that them put in place. Disaster fund, that's something supposed to be dead a long time. So you tap into it when you need it. So we're going to talk about now we put in place. PSP them are spinning now. Them back against the wall now. And them must spin things now. Because every country is supposed to have that in place. Disaster fund. Supposed to be there. That is for disaster. I don't know what I go on. I don't know what I go. Anyway, we want to listen to this piece of shit.
Imply and Jamaicans do what is necessary. Later on this afternoon, I'll be meeting with all the mayors. And one of the areas of concerns that has been brought to my attention, and I did a few surveys across the corporate here this morning.
We always have strength with the opposition and make up a lot of noise and tap on the voice. Why not talk so calm now? Have a go with God now, no? And God nature, pussy. Have a go with God now and God nature. Get up and reel up. Can't do it in it. No.
That there are several major construction sites that still has materials, sand, gravel, steel, and in some cases, cranes still hanging in the air. I'm going to make a general appeal this morning to all construction sites, not just only in the corporate here, but right across the country, that they must start to take the necessary steps to remove cranes, steels, sand, blocks, which will only contribute more to the blocking of our drains and can have devastating effect.
Wanna do and clean the fucking drain for over fucking 10 years. Right? That's what we're talking about. I wanna do and pay the fucking contractor them come out in a ball for the road, and there's so much money on the whole contractors. The building everywhere. There's the China them fucking strike other day. When you see China strike, you must know. Because them can't get no pay. So them are the thing let me tell you something, you know. You little piece of shit on the screen. Dead man Mackenzie. You, come on man. We know you, you know. But you're local fucking government. We know where you come from. You're Andrew. From all under the arsehole of Siago. Yeah.
On individuals, people's property, and can result in extreme damage. Billboards should be taken down, and this is the work of the municipal corporations. So I'm saying that all billboards should be taken down at this time and put in a safe place. You still have used car operators who continue to use the public thoroughfare to display their vehicles, park them overnight, just to advise that a team of wreck operators is presently combing the streets of the corporate area, and where we find these vehicles, we are going to remove them and take them to the Riverton City dump.
Well, yeah. No, sir. No,
we cannot afford to create human missiles.
A big sound, a play a big tune.
That will hurt persons during this period. I am asking for the cooperation.
That is a fucking jacone if I can have a thing in my come in now. The people might pay them tax, who don't agree with it, I want to make them sell them car. Now they come with this thing, you take up the people them car. I carry them go to Riverton City, go. I want the rascal out me here, sir. So if this is not a dictatorship again, I don't know what is. Anyway, we hear this crow bait still I say, yeah, man.
Of those persons that I've just outlined a while ago, there has been some controversy coming from the opposition as it relates to the funds.
You may come with some lies, you know.
That they have not gotten to spend. And I want to spend a couple of minutes on it because
lie this, you know, big lie this, you know.
I don't want the country to believe that this administration or myself as the minister,
but I'm going to tell you, so
in any way,
people are bomb all wicked, you know.
Is playing politics.
At just 1 month and little since election run, you know, there's no money allocated to the fucking opposition. The people who win them seat. Nobody now come tell the lie. The people who was there before, them fucking clean out everything and gone with it. And that was the intention of the fucking JLP. That's why them say it already, you know. And now he might come defend the undefendable, and as something is not true. They're supposed to carry this piece of shit go court, you know. Because lie him tell. I want the opposition them bomber cloud take up this and take it serious. Because I see them a sleepwalk still. Yeah. Fucking joke.
With emergency.
First time I talk, you know, I tell you. Anyway, it was true. And I talk something with facts. You want to talk so soft. Something I look at and read when one come say, tell lie. Anyway, I have the facts, I know I'm really right. Even on top of him voice, when it come to the opposition. Believe you me. I saw them work. But this is something you want to make them in party look good and trick the public. But it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out. A lie you tell, brother. Lie. Pack of lies. Just like a cat pack. Yeah, man. Two blasted lie.
The municipal corporations, by law, is required to hold a percentage of the parochial revenue funds that they have. And the purpose of that is to respond to emergencies. Those funds should...
We can't show receipt. We can't show receipt. Because everything have a documented. It's a government business, you know. What you talk is true, you know. Because a pack of liar come out of your fucking mouth. Yeah, because paper trail supposed to be there. This is not like a blood clot little somebody that sell fucking peanut on the road. No. This is government business, so you must have some receipt and paper trail. So you talk about opposition get money. Where? Opposition a lie and wicked like when they come to get money and come say, them not get the money. You understand? Yo.
Should not be spent unless an emergency such as the one we are experiencing now is happening. And they are required to seek the permission of the ministry to spend those funds, because previously, before, that funds were used to do other things outside of emergencies. And in fairness to some of the MCs, they have been using the...
Piece of shit is supposed to have... may I tell you something, you know?
You see what's have a disaster fund where the government issue out to MP for them constituency. What you fucking talking about? Because they thief up the money. When they rob up the fucking money and pocket one of the pocket. Yo.
SGR, and they have said it publicly in response
pack of lies
to the call. Some have not, because they have exhausted the SGR
what a liar, boy,
on
man.
other issues that are not emergency related. And they are therefore looking to the Ministry of Local Government to supplement what they have used outside of what is required.
So hold on there. Ushvat election was one other day. Ushvat PNP have a reserve for use since then. When them use it for? You saw the blood-clad GLP party wicked and lie, man. Come on now. No matter how somebody fool and no sense. But anyway, as I'm saying, whatever my talk, it have to go on a paper trail. And you have to prove it and show the country so them really get the money for true. So I'm not going to bother even beat upon them. Make you go and talk what you're thinking about. Yeah.
Funds have been earmarked. They were advised that they could use 2 months of the parochial revenue funds for drain cleaning. And I want the country to understand that the municipal corporations generate their own source of revenues that they can spend at their own ledger that the ministry has nothing to do with. So the municipal corporations...
Pussy, this is a central government and this is a disaster. Just like fucking COVID, piece of shit. So how you are come talk about other little fund where they made them up? What kind of fucking this brother you talk about? The government is supposed to fund all of them from the disaster fund. What the money there? Brother, I hope the opposition come up and the boy is strong, you know. Yeah, can me see a lot of red card on the way my chat. Pure fuckery. Because they want to come out of jail in it. Because them know so the money not there. Them clean up, the money is not there, you know, people. People never get paid. Civil servant. So now they might try a thing. It's not gonna work. Because you have to come prove it. And then the PMP they will offer them prove as well. So we have to show you how not go fucking and prove it. Because of stock, you call this lip service. Full lip service. Yeah.
Can find funds.
Where?
To do the work that is necessary. And I note that the opposition have mentioned.
Watch him read. I read.
Based on the survey that they did.
Yeah, boy.
All of the municipalities have said that they are not in a position.
Hey, me can't take no
for us to
hungry, miserable.
And I note
what you are thinking one now.
That
when we are hide so long,
it is said that some of the municipalities are not in a position to do it. All of them, the release said. But at least 5 municipalities that are controlled by the opposition has come out publicly to say that they have undertaken drain cleaning exercise and they are in a state of readiness. I want to say to the country this morning that this administration takes seriously
the question
of our preparedness
for disaster.
Where?
And we will work across the board to ensure
that
we provide quality service to the people and to ensure.
Because this pussy I talk and I read, I look down and I read. Whatever, that's what I'm saying now. That's what, if you're going to talk something genuinely, you just come out and talk like a man and face the Rascal audience. But every minute you look down and we write down, that can't be true. Right, that's why it's a lie, it's a red card. And that's the whole of them do. So them is a script government, ribbon cutting government, sure. But so them people are just give up Rascal, you know, if you don't mind sharp, you know, your blood pressure run up bad. And then now run up my own, you know.
That the people's business is taken care of. So let me repeat again, that the municipal corporations are in a position, there are 13 levels of fees that they are collecting, that they have control over those 13 layers of fees. The only ones that is...
So I thought this was a national disaster for the whole country. And the ruling party, who are rule, what is the government, supposed to find the funds to distribute to all the MP them who people elect to be the member, to send the money there to put the work in practice for this term. Or you are telling people that they're supposed to have money. I don't understand this, you know. Father God, take the pill and give me the case, because them people are dry-eye thief, them are dry-eye liar, them is dry-eye every fucking thing, and then I'm ashamed. Because this one matter now go nowhere. Because anybody who have sense, who don't know, say the government responsible, it's a national outcry, this, you know. It's nothing to do with no local thing. It's a disaster. What happened to the disaster fund where the government is supposed to have? A kitty. So when you want it, you dip in it and sort it out. What the fuck you talk about? You're a piece of shit. You say, yo.
It's controlled by government in terms of the Ministry of Finances, the PRF, which is a proceeds of the revenues from motor vehicle licensing and fees, which we get 66 1/3%. And on submission of your program, the funds are released, and the determination of the amount that the MCs get is not determined by the Ministry of Local Government. It comes directly from tax office. They get property taxes. They get trade license, which are...
What the Rascal property tax have to do with disaster? Well, I mean, I know, you know. I don't fucking know. Or them jail people allowed to steal around the country, you know. Because these people are some rascal beast. Yeah, man, they're not human being. Because when I do right now, I spin things, you know. Yo.
Are a significant amount of revenues, so they are in a position to do what is necessary. I'd like to therefore now touch on two critical areas of our preparedness as we get deeper into the hurricane. Already, I would have written to the Most Honorable Prime Minister on the advice of the Director General of ADPEM under the Disaster Risk Management Act to make a declaration which the Prime Minister did yesterday. Jamaicans, there is another request I'll be putting in writing to the Prime Minister for his consideration. That based on the extent of the system, there are vulnerable communities in Jamaica that it is advisable that persons do not remain in these communities during the passage of the hurricane. Provisions are made in the Disaster Risk Management Act for compulsory evacuation. Places like Rocky Point in Clarendon, Taylor Land in Bull Bay, New Haven, Riverton City, and many other communities that will be affected, where lives will be threatened. I will therefore be writing to the Prime Minister, based on the recommendations of the Acting Director General of ADPEM, that we take those steps to advise those communities of the intent to declare this order. But I want to make an appeal to persons who are living in these communities. Port Royal is one such community that is of concern, that you can start to make arrangements to move and go and spend time with relatives and friends. It is in your interest that this is done. And I want to say this, and I have to speak, Prime Minister, because this is how I am. It is going to be impossible when the event comes, after all the efforts that you would have made, to say to our first respondent, go to point A and point B, to put their lives at risk when persons refuse to move before. And I want to urge Jamaicans, do not take this for granted. We have already removed the residents of 3 infirmaries that sits on the mouth of the river of the sea in St. Anne, Hanover, and Trelawney. Those residents have been removed to safe grounds, and we are presently removing the homeless population from the streets and placing them in shelters right across the country.
You sure about that?
The Ministry of Local Government and ADPEM is in a position, Prime Minister, to provide.
You might move a few of them, yes?
When necessary, Prime Minister. We have a team here in Jamaica from Sedema, which came in over the last 2 days, which is helping us in our communication system and is here to give support to the team on the ground. The government is doing all that it can within its powers, but the greater effort has to come from the people themselves. And I want to use my presentation this morning to urge Jamaicans to take this seriously. Do not gamble with Melissa. It's not a safe bet. I urge Jamaicans to think about themselves first. I hope and pray that God will grant us the strength.
Don't call God
and the
name
courage,
in your mouth, man.
and that He will smile on us and be gracious to us over the next couple of days.
Thank you. Get blood clot beaten.
Thank you very much, Minister. Now we're going to be hearing from our Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness.
How can you call a thief? What is the word honorable? When somebody call you honorable, you're supposed to be really trustworthy and honorable. How can you call, this I can't understand, this thing about change. Although I'm not charged yet, but the evidence is there. But this is how them play them game anyway. Look at this a blood clot one here, with the map on a red.
Thank you, PM.
Thank you, Minister. Good morning, Jamaicans.
The devil listener.
Here and overseas who may be watching this press briefing. Firstly, a few comments on the system itself. The system is...
That man, when we don't call him man, that brother here,
I just never come out, From all these 2 weeks ago, this a fucking thing, a bubble in the year. And none of them just come do this. When you see that look so bad, that means I don't care about Jamaica. Them have to come out automatically. And that them do now. Look at him. Them all nervous. Well, them all looking nervous. I know some not blind. We can see and read things. They don't have no confidence like how them used to bowl. So there's something that trouble them. Because they never want to have this botheration. Right now, they don't prefer the PMP have it. But God never work it that way because them was waiting. That's why I'm take so long to call the election and go right up to the exact time. I was waiting on something like this in the hurricane season. Some can delay the election, but it never happened. God work in a mischievous way and was throw it back on them. So them all fucking nervous. Trust me upon that one day. Yeah, man. We hear him say.
It's quite an unusual one, sitting in the Caribbean Sea for such a long time, making up its mind where it will go. It is obvious that it now has a trajectory where we can, with great certainty, say that Jamaica will be impacted. Let me be clear that the entire Jamaica will be impacted by this storm. The outer bands seem to be very wide, and it is already affecting the Dominican Republic and Haiti with significant rainfall. We should expect the same. So the first impact that we should be preparing for would be heavy rains. Once it becomes a major hurricane, which is projected to be within a day, then we will have heavy winds. The third impact will be the length of time that it will stay. If it continues to be as slow moving as it has been, then we could expect anywhere from 2 to 3 days. Would that be correct, Evan? Or even longer. So those are the 3 things you should be, in your mind, be prepared for. Now, I know that there are many Jamaicans who are anxious, who are very concerned, and rightfully so. You should be concerned. But the best way to address anxiety and any nervousness and concern is to be prepared. So I would urge all my fellow citizens, everyone who is now feeling nervous, anxious, uncertain, that now is the time to be prepared. And the elements of preparedness for a hurricane would be, first of all, you want to protect your shelter. That's absolutely critical, because in a hurricane, you would need to be somewhere where you can be sheltered. Roofs, windows, start there. Battening down. So I noticed that many Jamaicans are putting building blocks on their zinc and so forth. That is a solution, but a better option would be to use sandbags, which stay longer and are not likely to be blown off. If you can.
Are you gonna? Why you never provide the sandbag them as a government so people can get the sandbag? You just come with a big stinking boat and talk shit. Yo, let me tell you something, Yo.
Fine plywood or anything of that form to protect your windows, that would be useful.
Nobody don't want to hear nothing from you, man. People know what to do.
We always say to remove threatening branches from trees. We have seen one incident where someone was injured trying to do that, so we advise that if you're doing that, be super careful in doing that. The next layer of preparation would be to look for areas that are vulnerable to flooding. If you find that your yard is below road level or in a water zone, meaning you have built in a river course, you're on a slope, you're near to the sea, you're in a low-lying area, you're close to or on a gully bank, or historically, you are in an area where the river may change course.
You need to take off 2 fucking things off your name. Doctor, because you're not a fucking doctor, that's number 1. You buy a doctorate. And the next thing, the honorable, take it off your fucking name. You just name Andrew. And that's all it is, Prime Minister Andrew. Because you're not a Prime Minister. Your fucking TV election. It's a disgrace, you know, brother. I tell you that, you know. And you're there, and you look like you're mad person, a clean clothes. Yeah.
You want to take protective measures. And again, simple sandbagging can be useful in directing water away from your shelter. Once you have sorted out your shelter issues, then you have to look for sustenance, food and water. Make sure that you have food that is non-perishable and water that is in proper containers, scaled to the number of persons who live in your household. Then you want to look for ensuring that you have at least some form of lighting, because it is highly likely that
all we are talking up here, fuck it, because everybody knows if you do it. Everybody knows, say, well, in a storm, people can't go anywhere and get information. People have sense. You have to have food, dry food. You have to have fucking flashlight, kerosene oil. So all that we are talking, everybody know that already. Come here, go find something else to talk about, man. Or you just come out, come talk. You have a lot more to talk about, or you give advice. Yo.
the electricity will go either preemptively or as a result of the storm itself. Batteries and flashlights are recommended.
But I bet you any money though, there's no electric going to disappear from Ushuaia Uno live. Nah man, we not going to have electric, Ushuaia Uno live, you know, well secure. And if we don't have, if electric even go down, we don't have backup system. Poor people don't have that. We not going to have backup system and then phone electric, I go back in a service in no time. So all I want to come and talk, when I try to really poor people, we don't have no love for them. We don't pretend. We are the greatest bumbleclad pretender when it come towards poor people and ghetto people. Trust me. When I come talk, like say we don't really care. You know what I mean?
We, you know, the good old home sweet home lamp is always there, but we're always very careful, you know, last resort. Batteries and flashlights, today's technology with LED light.
Yeah, you know, we don't want a lamp in a bumbleclad, and about lamp is a flashlight and things like that, because breeze blow down fucking lamp and even burn up the fucking place. When people are really busy and are trying to save themselves. You give some idiot fucking advice. And they know what the fuck you're saying. But all them things are supposed to prepare for poor people. Some people can't afford a flashlight. But all them things should not give people and out them things to people. But no, because we don't have nothing in the kitty. We want to clean out everything for yourself. And I come talk like we don't care now. We don't care. We don't have to draw to do this. That's why it takes so long to come out.
You can have lights going for a little while in the night. Solar lamps are always good to have. These are things that you would want to have in your possession.
Solar.
Of course, in today's world, telecommunications is important. Make sure you have at least some credit if you use prepaid plans, that you keep your devices safe. And we can't give you any guarantee that throughout the storm you will have full coverage. It is likely that you may have some coverage at some point, but you should always, in your hurricane plan, be prepared that you may be out of communication. But nevertheless, keep your instruments safe. Don't let them get wet so that at least if the signals were to come back, you'll be able to connect. Now, having done all of that, there is another important thing which we ask you to do. Keep your documents safe. Now, your identification, your passport, any prescriptions that you may need to be refilled, your land titles and all of those things, keep them safe. Keep them in a safe place. Yes, there would be distribution of benefits without the need for identification, but that would be very limited. In fact, in the humanitarian relief and recovery phase, I would say that most, if not all, the distribution of benefits will require some form of identification because of the accountability issues that even though it's a hurricane, we can't suspend accountability. So keep your identification safe. There are some other things that we would want you to do in being prepared. Speak with your children about the hurricane because they are going through their own uncertainty crises, which you may not immediately recognize. They may not take it seriously. Some may think of it as fun, and they may run outside and run in the rain playing football, and accidents can happen. We urge you to have a frank discussion about what to expect in a hurricane and why it is important to stay sheltered during the hurricane. We don't want to have any deaths during the hurricane. And an important part of that is to keep your household inside safe. Outside of that, communities are an important response tool to the hurricane. I remember during Gilbert, the community in which I live, everyone came together. And that helped to keep the community safe. It helped to deal with emergencies and just good old sitting down, talking, dealing with the challenges that would have occurred. In today's parlance, we say it helps with the mental health. So community is important. Looking on your neighbor, reach out to your neighbor, find out what is happening, ask how you can help, or ask for help. Very important. Outside of that, there is the local government response. And Minister Mackenzie would have addressed this issue of what the local government is tasked and resourced to do. And then there is the national response. Now, I know that at this time, there are many persons who simply have no resources at all. They are not able to go to the supermarket and buy even one bag of crackers. I am aware. And we have tasked the Ministry of Social Security to start to pre-position supplies, but in all reality, we wouldn't be able to get supplies to everyone who is genuinely in need of the supplies. The most immediate first responder is usually, it's either your church or your member of parliament or your councillor, the police. So we are going to make provisions for the councillors and the members of parliament to be able to, where they can, because they are humans too and they wouldn't be able to be out in this storm, but as much as they can, we will resource them to be able to assist. They will, and I'll be clear with this, they will not be able to assist every case. It's just physically not.
Anybody will get blood clot handout or benefit from you. Are you same labor right fucking PMP supporter that them now get a zinc from you know. This is how we operate. So we can see where you go with this. You got to talk about it, not everybody now go able to get it. Yeah, I know same supporter when I will try to make feel good, but because when it's a fucking, yeah, me tell you something, people. Anytime I talk and see all that brother your face, it really sick me, you know. I tell you that in a real life. Yeah.
Possible. But in as much as cases are brought to their attention, their network of workers and community activists and so forth would have brought cases to their attention, then we can assist. We are very grateful and very thankful for the philanthropic organizations that exist in certain communities that are already starting to mobilize and doing work. We intend to reach out to most and cooperate with them and assist them in being able to get supplies and distribute. Which leads me to another point of preparedness nationally, and that at this time there must be a unified position with all the civic stakeholders and all our political stakeholders. And so I have been in communication with the leader of the opposition. We should meet today at, I believe, 12:30, and I will give the opposition a full brief. I'm certain that they will have suggestions which we will listen to and take on board. And if determined, then we will have a Zoom call with members of parliament. I know many of them are in the field, so it depends on how many that we would be able to mobilize. But we have already provisioned them with resources to clean drains and gullies. I know many of them are out in the field supervising these works. From being a member of parliament myself and having gone through this many, many times over, your constituents are of the belief that every drain and every gully is going to be cleaned. That may not be possible.
But on a year government for 10 years, there's no drain cleaning. So I know we are come to talk about now. You're supposed to be ashamed of your damn fucking self. And the people, I know me I said it, and the people must say it. We not clean a drain. Well, I don't know. One talk.
Certainly, you would need much more equipment mobilized than we have capabilities to do, much more supervision.
If UNO was making a priority and a clean drain, as it's supposed to be, fix the road them and clean the drain them, keep on cleaning them, and make sure it's well then when you spend the money to get the drain them clean as any civilized country. UNO have to talk about them things they know about drain cleaning. Even McGregor Gully. No. And life is more easier. So now I run up and down like a headless chicken to talk about drain cleaning. If that was keeping intact and service as well as supposed to do. But no. On the name of the money and gall it out. And now when I come to talk about drain cleaning. Drain cleaning should not know everything should not up and running so the water can move and go to where it go, in the sea or whatever. So less yard wouldn't be flooding, less street wouldn't be flooding. But now when I run up and down like a headless chicken, I talk about something when it's supposed to do 10 years ago. I do that and make sure that every 6 months. But now I don't fucking do that. I'm a piece of shit. Yeah.
John. And so what the MPs would be doing would be trying to concentrate on the main ones. That is where their efforts would be. So if you didn't see the drain running behind your yard being clean, don't believe that no work is happening. Work is happening, but
no work wasn't happening. You're too fucking lying.
In your locality. That is being monitored by the NWA.
I see a ninja bike. The woman them are wear tight pants and tight jeep. The woman them are wear.
We were able to clean. That is indeed a very important preemptive action when it comes to treating with flooding. So outside of that, from an administrative point of view, all our entities have been tasked and mobilized. I suspect all the officers understand what the mission is. It is, from all indications, it is going to be a direct hit, and all of Jamaica will be impacted. I urge everyone to be wise about this, to put aside the nervousness and the anxiety, and be practical, prepare, as I have outlined, how we should be prepared, and continue to pray. We have seen hurricanes at the last moment take a turn for the better. And I still have hope that the impact will not be as bad as it is shaping up to be. But we will prepare for the worst and continue to pray for the best. The impact, whatever it is, the preparation can have some mitigating effect on the impact, but the real work starts the hour after the impact. And what we have done in terms of national preparedness is to put everything in place to be able to respond the hour after the impact. And that is how quickly we intend to recover from this hurricane. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. You would have heard earlier from Minister Vaz. You also heard from Minister Mackenzie, Minister Green, and also Minister Samuda. If you have any questions, and Prime Minister just closed out, and I see the Observer has the first question.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Prime Minister. Man. A quick one for you. You speak about the recovery. In your administration had started a cat bond with the World Bank with about US $150 million. Not sure if Hurricane Beryl triggered that catastrophe bond, and is it still in place?
Still in place. Still in place. Still in place, yes.
And how will we trigger it, PM?
No, I hope it's not triggered. As I stand here, I don't want it to be triggered.
What triggers it?
Yeah.
So, question
it is dependent on the level of damage.
You don't want to hear no hard question.
It's also dependent on the wind, the wind category.
But now get ready.
We're hopeful that we don't have significant winds, which would translate to not having significant damage.
All right. Nationwide.
Morning, Prime Minister. Morning to the room again. Given we spoke with Evan Thompson earlier, he was telling us that different places are at different risks based on their characteristics. Persons in hilly areas might be susceptible to landslides, those in the coast might be susceptible to flooding. Given that we have MPs in here, the question to all the MPs would be, based on the characteristics of your constituency, are there any special warnings you want to give to the constituents in terms of areas that may be susceptible to a different type of damage compared to somewhere else? Are there any specific instructions?
Yeah, I mean, so I don't want to call out areas. I usually leave that to the technical persons because I don't know all the areas. But let's take Port Royal, for example. So Port Royal is a low-lying area. Just the nature of that peninsula would leave it vulnerable. And we ask the persons there to take precautions. I would have come in at the tail end of the presentation of Minister Mackenzie. And I can understand the reluctance of persons who are attached to that community and attached to the land. They don't want to be displaced, and they want to be able to protect their assets. But my advice to them, because it's no advice, I'm awaiting the minister's recommendation for it to become a compulsory order to relocate, to evacuate. I would advise them to, if they don't want to go to a shelter, because a shelter would be open, and I believe the shelter, Minister Mackenzie, would be the arena and Windward Road Primary. I would recommend that they make contact with family and make arrangements to stay with family. That's one area. The other area would be Rocky Point and the general Portland Cottage area. Those areas have historically flooded, even in Beryl. I know the residents there are quite resourceful, and I've seen some do the sandbanking, channeling, and all kinds of other measures. But given not just the severity in terms of the projected wind and rain, but this other dimension of the length of time that it will stay. If it stays very long, then even your best measures could be thwarted by just the duration of rainfall and wind. So I urge every Jamaican who are residing in these vulnerable areas to make plans to evacuate. Now, the compulsory evacuation comes with the provision of transportation. We won't be able to do it in all cases, but in most cases, I would say 90% of the cases, we will provide transportation to move you to safe ground. Outside of that, because the provision of transportation would be halted at a particular point in time, because that would be putting our drivers and buses and other persons in harm's way. After that, we would not be able to guarantee a response until after the hurricane. And so I'm just putting it very frankly that if you decide to violate an order to evacuate, you are essentially taking a risk with your life.
All right. Thank you. Are there any other questions? None? All right. Thank you. Thank you, Prime Minister.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone.
You should about you quickly say none, because what they do, them have a selective media. Then I have no rascal bother to ask them a proper question, no hard question, Nationwide or nation narrow, them not go ask them nothing. And the Observer, so just them two, them up there's nobody there to ask some hard question. And these are some selected press conference. That's how dictator control things. Where is Dean Jackson Miller? CVM. Although them not too better still. But at least Miller wanna ask some sensible question. Because she not afraid of nobody. Yeah, man. But I just saw it go. Because all of them are to try to do save face right now. Yeah, man. All them are trying to do is just fucking save face. And that's all it is. Save fucking face. Yeah, man, them are trying to save fucking face. That's all them are trying to do. No proper journalist asks no proper question. Just people who are lying to them, who compromise with them. Nation narrow and the same Observer. Because the Macho Samuda wife, I think she a big editor. Don't that paper, Observer, if I'm not lying. So they know what they're doing, for true. They know what they're doing. And there's no joke about that. They fucking know what they're doing. Yeah, man. And it's sad still enough. It's telling people that just a blood clot come out for all this fucking time. And them just a fucking come out. Yeah. They're just fucking coming out. This is a planting, But I hope my goal is to enjoy them out and try them to look somebody to go by them side as well. You know what I mean? Let them look somebody to go by them side.
Hello, everyone.
And that's all it is.
My name
that's all it is.
This storm potentially making a northern turn.
Because somebody will look to go by them side. And that's all
to
it is.
80 knots.
Look for fucking somebody to go by them side. So they might call out Mark Golden. I go have a meeting. Because Mark Golden I move soft sometime too, him not really punch as when supposed to punch, to be truthful. Nah punch as when supposed to punch. Yeah. But I leave them to fucking time, same speed. Check out this weather forecast, what I say, because boy, the brother talk of the things them. And then again, as I'm saying, the brother there at Jamaica, he might try to make the people them feel good, but him no have to come back in line. Because this is really gonna be serious hurricane. Yeah man. So here we go on. Gonna be serious as fuck.
Direct landfall, but you guys have never had a hurricane impact like this. If Melissa truly gets up to category 4 or category 5 strength, you're going to experience something that you have never ever experienced before, and it's going to be more devastating than what you have ever experienced in the past. This is going to be a hurricane in its own league, and because we have so many models indicating landfall, you guys need to prepare right now. We're going to try to give you the most preparation tips, as well as a well fleshed out forecast so that you guys can know everything that you need to know with Hurricane Melissa as it approaches your country. So the things that are setting up for Melissa right now, first starting off with our sea surface temperatures, you can see right to the south of Jamaica, we have 30 to 31 degrees Celsius water temperatures. This is the first part of our equation that allows us to see just how strong Melissa can be. And as I push this forward, you can see that our hurricane is going to be moving to the west here over the next day or two before eventually taking a northern turn into Jamaica, going over those 30 and 31 degrees Celsius waters that are sitting just off of the southern coast of Jamaica. So everything is kind of in place there, especially for those sea surface temperatures for some rapid intensification. We could be talking about Melissa being a category 4 hurricane by the time we go to bed tonight or by the time we wake up tomorrow morning. And those impacts will already be being felt over there as well. In terms of that flooding, potentially even some storm surge before this even makes landfall back over near like Old Harbor, near Spanish Town. So again, those water temperatures are going to be in place for Hurricane Melissa as she approaches Jamaica. So that's one check mark, unfortunately. And then also another check mark is that by the time our storm starts to strengthen here, you can see in the past we've had some shear to the north. See these blues kind of encroaching into where our circulation is. But over time, the next day or so, we're going to see that wind shear kind of retreat off to the north as Hurricane Melissa starts to strengthen. And that's going to allow for a little bit of stronger organization of the upper levels of our storm, meaning our storm's really going to be able to vent all of that cold air out of it pretty efficiently and grab that warmer air near the surface more efficiently as well. So that mixed with the water temperatures means that we're really expecting probably within the next hour to 12 hours, Hurricane Melissa to start to rapidly intensify if it's not already doing that right now. In fact, one of the things to note here on visible satellite, as the sun rose on Hurricane Melissa this morning, you can see that we have a couple of pretty high convective towers. You see these bubbles right here? That is indicating very tall thunderstorms, very strong thunderstorms, and this is right on in the center of where Melissa is right now. So we're already seeing evidence of Melissa really trying to fire some strong convection around that center, meaning that engine is now vertically stacked. This storm is going to be ready to go for strengthening, and all that's going to need to happen now is just a little bit more of the relaxation of that shear, a little bit more organization of that core, and then we're going to see this storm explode in intensity. So although it's not a strong hurricane right now, over the next day, the appearance of this storm is going to completely change. So now we're going to look at our hurricane models and look at the different wind amounts that we could expect with our storm here. And as we go into Sunday morning, you can see that that is when our winds, our tropical storm force winds, are going to start to appear into the eastern portion of Jamaica. This is the HFAS-A model, one of our hurricane models. And as you can see, our hurricane stays down to the south. We start to see those winds get all the way up to like 110 miles per hour there. And then eventually you see it kind of wobble to the south, build in strength even more, and then push up to the north into kind of like near the Alligator Pond area and make direct landfall here on Tuesday morning. Early Tuesday morning, the HFAS-A is saying here. And you can see those wind speeds could be anywhere from 110 to almost 155 miles per hour, maybe even a little bit higher. If it's above 155 miles per hour, we're talking about a Category 5 hurricane. And again, that's going to bring devastating impacts. Another thing to note here is that as this makes a close approach on the northern side of our storm, there will still be some storm surge. So we could already see some coastal flooding by this point. Also back into here, the winds are going to be going from right to left, and that's going to be pushing that water into this area over here. And then also as we move into about Monday morning, early Monday morning here, you can see that we have winds pushing that water into this area of Jamaica, talking about near Old Harbor in Spanish Town. So again, storm surge is going to get started even before our storm makes landfall, and that storm surge is really going to be focused in those areas, especially over there near Spanish Harbor, as our storm makes landfall. Right on that right side of our storm is going to be pushing a massive wall of water into Jamaica. So one of the things that you guys can do to prepare is to make sure that if you live near the coast, you are
See, the eye people, the eye is very dangerous, you know, because right at the heart of Jamaica, you know, because, boy, if you know really make a little changes, Jamaica go get a hard lick. And I hope, boy, we don't want the life them to lose. We don't want that, because the one here, because remember, you know, so them say the one here, the hurricane are going to be the baddest out of all of them. And the whole of them, why, we know about Jamaica, them do a lot of damage. Them say 51 storm hurricane was a bad one. We never born them time there. Don't hear about it, but why, the one here look really crucial. Yeah. Really crucial. Let me say one of the bodies. And if you look on the eye, you can see it's like a bullseye that go eat Jamaica bad. More than Cuba or even Haiti. Well, I don't know. God works still, you know.
Evacuating away from the coast here, especially on the eastern side of Jamaica. We're talking over here near Old Harbor, Spring Village, Spanish Town, Portmore, potentially even Kingston should be thinking about, especially if you live near the coast, thinking about evacuating from the coast. Now, as we go into about Tuesday morning, our winds are really going to increase down here. That's probably when the peak of our storm surge is going to be into Spanish Town, Old Harbor, and you can see those winds are probably around 80 to 100 knots coming in, which is around 100 to 120 miles per hour, potentially 130 miles per hour right off of the coast, but maybe a little bit stronger there on the southern side of our storm. And this storm is going to be slowly tracking over Jamaica throughout the day. Jamaica is not really that large of an island, but because of how slow our storm is going to be moving, it could stay over Jamaica for about 12 to 13, maybe even 15 hours after making landfall. And again, this whole time is going to be just dumping rain. And then eventually we're going to see Melissa track further up to the north and then impact Jamaica as a little bit of a weaker storm, but still potentially a major hurricane before it rockets off to the north, very close to the Bahamas, or over the Bahamas, really over here, just north and west of Yankeetown and south and of Clarence Town and these islands here. Now, in terms of that rainfall, one of the things that we are really worried about here is how Melissa interacts with the eastern mountains of Jamaica. We're also going to be looking at the terrain of Jamaica to explain why we are specifically worried, really worried about flooding here. So, and where you should be worried about it the most as well. But, you know, as we go into about Sunday afternoon, you can see that we really start to see rain pile up here. We do have some mountains on the eastern side of Jamaica, and that's going to cause something that we call orographic lift, which is basically just the mountains are squeezing that moisture out of the atmosphere like a wet tile, like they're wringing out a wet towel. And so we're going to have a lot of that wind pushing up against the mountains, a lot of that orographic lifting, and that's going to call for some enhanced precipitation here on the eastern side of Jamaica. And that's going to start as early as Sunday morning, going into Sunday afternoon, still seeing a lot of rain on those mountains. Monday, still seeing a lot of rain. Going into even Tuesday, that rain gets even heavier. We could start to see maybe a little bit of a water spout to tornado threat on the eastern side of Jamaica. And that rain is going to continue and continue until we get into about Wednesday or Tuesday night. And also another thing that I want to note here, as our storm approaches land, we are still going to be dealing with some wind shear. As you can see, we're going to have still around 14 knots of wind shear. So that is one thing to keep in mind. But look at this. As our storm starts to go into rapid strengthening, our wind shear is going to be a little bit lower, but for the most part.
And this good all carry all thunderstorm with it too, you know. I never know to how this malice behave. It will carry a lot of rascal thing with it. And thunderstorm, is that a nice thing in a storm? Frightening thing that for all kids as well. Can give people a heart attack. Yo. Anyway, we just wish for the best here, man.
You can see that there is still going to be some shear around our storm, so fingers crossed that that keeps us out of that Category 5 hurricane strength. Just something to note, you can see that our wind shear is still going to be, according to the Euro, sitting at around like 13 to maybe even 14 knots, which is still favorable, especially if we have an organized storm with a core strong enough to kind of battle that shear. We're not talking about anything really over 20 knots, but it's definitely something to keep in mind, especially when talking about upper intensities with this storm. That wind shear could keep our storm from becoming a Category 5. It probably won't go ballistic and get like up to 180 miles per hour unless we start to see, you know, that shear environment really start to relax, but still expecting a very strong and potentially catastrophic hurricane. Now, one of the big things that is very concerning here about our total rainfall is that over here near Jamaica, you can see that we're going to be talking about not inches of rain, but feet of rain, potentially 1 to 2, maybe even some isolated spots, especially over there in those mountainous regions, of maybe even up to 3 to 4 feet of rain hitting those mountains, flowing down the mountains into the river. So now we're going down here and looking at the geography here of eastern Jamaica. And these are some of the areas that I've kind of clued into to being a big problem when it comes to that inland flooding. Again, here are those mountains where we're going to be getting a lot of that orographic lift. This is where a lot of our rain is going to fall. And when you get rainfall on mountains like these, it kind of just acts as a funnel. The rain falls, flows down either side of the mountain. And that's why there's actually rivers here, because naturally, whenever that happens with a smaller rainstorm, it just naturally flows down here. So most of our rain is going to get funneled into these rivers. And there's quite a few out here. Areas that need to be watching out is like over here near Hillside, Church of God over there, near like the Adventist Church, Church Corner, out over here where the mouth of this river flows out, back over here near Danvers Penn, Trinityville, as well as we have a river that flows off of this portion of these mountains. And as you can see, you know, there's a river that runs all the way along here. And any one of these areas, guys, if you want to guarantee or at least greatly increase your chances of survival out here in Jamaica, you want to get out away from these rivers, and not just like a couple feet away. You want to get well away.
Yeah, seriously.
You really need to be watching that. Also, back up here, we have another potential river that runs through this area.
It's on St. Mary there. Right up on the Gully there, so we shot to our place today, you know. When you have heavy rain, we don't talk about storm, you know, you have river will come down and come off of the hill. And I tell you, say, if the water ever catch you, you're gone. And you have some really houses up there, so we're not really built to take the pressure like that. So you're gonna devastate, you know. Yeah, man. Because remember, in Jamaica have river like wow, you know. Jamaica one of the Caribbean who have rivers, you know. I tell you that anywhere you go, every parish have rivers. And some of them is really extreme. Come from up upon the hills. So this hurricane can cause a lot of damage, brother. And take life. Yeah. Seriously.
Talking about Landway, St. Andrew's Parish, large river runs through there. If you live near any of those rivers, you see how it comes out here as well. The Yalaz River, need to be watching out in Albion as well, in Poor Man's Corner, especially right on the coast of that river. Another area is back over here near the Church of Firstborn Victory, that is near the Hope River, the Kintyre District as well. All of these areas are going to be getting that orographic lift, that rain. It's going to be piling up, and those are going to be our major areas of flooding. We could see mudslides, which move quick and can cause massive amounts of damage. If you live in any of these river areas, the best way to survive is to just get away from those rivers. Just get away from those rivers. Also on the backside of our mountain as well.
You see, the Jamaican meteorology now really give them the rascal line out like, oh, this brother are geet, you know. No, for some reason. So all them things I look on, you know. I not see him give it line out like how these guys are do it. Because all of these rivers, because that's you know, say Jamaica have a lot of river. This is a true picture of where can happen. Yeah. So you have to be really scared and frightened if you was in that position. So people have to take them things lightly. Because sometimes Jamaica not take things like seriously, you know. Most of the time, you know. Yeah. Till even too fucking late. But anyway, hope for the best. That's all I can say.
Near like Portland Parish, Buff Bay, near the Rio Grande River as well, near Snow Hill, Cottawan Village. All need to be watching those rivers as they are going to get a lot bigger over the next couple of days, and they're going to cause some major flooding issues and potentially mudslide issues,
Portland,
which again
St. Mary,
are fast-moving areas where there's
St.
a lot
Thomas,
of debris coming off of these mountains, and they
Clarendon,
just slam into houses, and most houses don't survive that. So don't try to ride this out. Evacuate to somewhere else. If most of our models are correct, the western side of Jamaica could be the most safe place, but it's really hard to tell you guys 100% that that's where you should be, because again, models can shift around, but the worst impacts, at least for the flooding, are going to be near these mountains. So if you want to get away from that flooding, move more inland, and I would try to get out away from the average center of the storm. So I would go to the western portion, more inland, away from a river if you can. Also, some things that you need to do is make sure that you have non-perishable food, canned goods, your medical records on you just in case you get injured. You know, you're not going to have internet to be able to transfer anything. Make sure you have extra cash because, again, there's not going to be any internet if the power goes out, and that means you won't be able to get any money out of the ATM after the power goes out. So make sure you have cash.
You see all them things at the premise, not all them things, you know. So them man will give you the real thing. This is all first world country give you the facts. Jamaican meteorology not fucking give them things there. Him talk about, you know, have it with him and rate. This man give the real thing. And Joel come talk about, oh, you will have internet, you might not have, you know, him not gonna really say if the internet will hold up or whatever. He might just give some announce story. Not giving you the right rascal thing. This man give the real rascal weather situation with this storm, yeah. Yeah, man.
Cash is king Also, if you are sheltering in place in your house away from the rivers, away from the coast, fill up bathtubs with water, because sometimes when the power goes out, water treatment goes out as well, so water becomes unsafe to drink. But if you fill up the bathtub with safe water to drink, even though the power goes out, you're still gonna have a large reservoir of water to tap into. Folks, I really want you to be safe out there. I'm gonna probably be live as this is happening, making landfall with a storm chaser on the ground and cameras across Jamaica. So make sure you are subscribed and tuned in for that. Back over into the...
Yeah, man. It's a really good forecaster, you know. Yeah, definitely. Good forecaster. No joke about that. Good forecaster. This man I'll give you. So, you know, in that levels. And give them real forecast. I show you all the rivers them, all the places them. Give you the map and everything. Where Jamaica meteorology in Rasland show them things there. Instead of I show them things, I try to talk it up like nothing go happen. And that I said a couple years ago. But anyway, that's why I like to deal with proper things and listen proper things, you know. You get more knowledge in everything. Yeah. You get more knowledge in everything. But anyway, people, and they say it there, you know. So out and running, out and gunning. Out.
A big sound, I play a big tune. Ja Holy Emmanuel, I boy. Ja Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. Well, Gideon go busting out them head again. So much oppression poor people face right now. Them crying out for freedom. Them crying out for free speech. Then said them want to stand up like them black liberators, like Malcolm X and Martin Luther and the ancient monarchy where come pave the way, sir. Free up black people from me tear down them fence, yeah. Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon, well, the Gideon go busting out them head. I listen, I the power of the Trinity. Give us the teaching of His Majesty, and we know war, no devil philosophy. Not until color of a man's skin is abnormal, significant well, to the color of his eye. Remember all the war done in 1935.
On Sticky Stocky TV. If your finger is not sticky, subscribe. But if your finger sticky, do not subscribe.